Hey everybody, Tekking101 here. So this is going to be another commentary video on a short film that I made. I guess you could call it a short film. It's the Tekking101 Extra Chapter 2 commentary. Really just thought I would knock this out really quickly before I started school. It's a really quick video I could just make. And there are actually a few things I want to say about this video. That it was much more well received than the... Even some people were saying it's better than the first one. And it's one of those situations when I was, editing it and everything. I'm like, this is not as good as the original. This is not that, just some of the shots were really poorly edited, and I had to, that was just mistakes on my part, really. I just wasn't really paying close attention. But this was shot at my friend's place, the one where the guy at the end of the video, you can see his foot, that's his place, that's his property. I really liked, he has like these woods behind his house, and the trees are like not too grouped together, they're like spaced out enough so you can actually film stuff in them, so I really like that feel of it there. The day we filmed this, it was approximately 85-90 degrees outside. It was very hot, and I was wearing the suit, which if you ever wore a suit out in that weather, it's not very comfortable. So in a situation like that, it was just like, I want to film these shots really quickly as possible and just get done with it, and I'll scrap together whatever, and that resulted in a few shots being cropped too low or cropped too high, or just something that it cuts off my head, which I really just hated. But people liked it, so let's start. Let's watch it, I guess. I actually added the previous segment because it was really too short. The video was maybe like 4 minutes, and that was way too short, so I added this previously segment just to, and also just for practical purposes, just to catch everyone up to speed in case you're unaware. And to, that kind of endorses part 1 too, so I guess that's a good reason. Yeah. I was thinking about not including that, the whole Bring Back to Life by Kubo God thing, because it was a pretty serious video. Well, it wasn't really serious. I mean, I'm fighting myself, but at the end it was just kind of crazy how I just came back to life like that. So I'm going to explain that better later, but yeah, for now. Oh, nature. Those birds are fake, by the way. That's all sound effect. I was actually, honestly, a little bit worried about that smoke bomb because, I had this weird paranoid delusion that, like, a lot of smoke would come out of it, and, like, the neighbors might get freaked out or something if they see just smoke in the woods. That's why I picked blue. But after we lit the thing, it was like just a little puff of blue smoke came out, pretty much. We had to actually film that shot really quickly just because it didn't last very long, so, whatever. And this is one shot that's cropped too low. Here's another thing about, I said spiritual pressure. Apparently, that's not the proper pronunciation. Apparently, it's, I was going to say Reiatsu, but I didn't want to mess it up too much because I'm not Japanese, and I think it's pronounced Reiatsu, but I didn't want to screw it up, especially doing, like, the Dark Max. His voice is a little bit more deeper and, like, grittier than mine. I had the voice effect. But, apparently the proper, like, spiritual pressure is just how it's felt. I should have said spiritual energy, but spiritual energy I think is a little bit too cliche because it's used in so many anime and English dubs, like spiritual power, spiritual energy. So I spit spiritual pressure just to add a little bit more originality, and that's what they say in the dub sometimes, so I guess that can kind of be justified. And this is kind of ripped straight from the whole Muramasa thing, how Muramasa is unstable, so he keeps clutching his chest, and he can't maintain a form, so that's why that idea came from. I will explain that later, why that happens, because there's actually a pretty legitimate reason for that. And the voice of that sword was my friend, the one who shows up at the end. I added a few effects to his voice to sound it pretty cool, and he really enjoyed it when he first watched this. He was pretty ecstatic of how I made his voice sound. But yeah. That stump was actually, I was looking for a stump to put the sword in, and I just walked up and just stabbed it in a random stump. It went like halfway in. That stump was like dead. It went like halfway in like mush. So that actually worked out for me because it made it look like I'm like super wicked strong when I'm really just kind of a string bean, but whatever. And we continue. If you're curious, I'm gonna continue the trend of really odd sounding chapter titles, because the first one was called Goodbye to Our Tekking101, which it's, of course, that's ripped straight from Goodbye to Our Execution from Bleach, and this one is Shout at the Void, which is a parody of Shout at the Dark from, there was one Bleach chapter that I really like that name, Shout at the Dark, so, Shout at the Void.
after all that stuff happened, I just figured he was gonna, I don't know.
As I stroll, I shot my camera around this room. It was a little bit ago. You saw, like, next to my clock, there was a little tiny emblem, which is the guard for Zangetsu, the Tensa Zangetsu guard that's, like, shaped like a swastika. That is also, I'm planning that to come into play later on. And the sonic screwdriver, which is broken, which I don't know if I'm going to resolve that in a Tekking101 extra chapter, or if I'm going to resolve that in one of my videos, but I do have another sonic screwdriver, so I'm planning on where I'm going with that, but I don't know if I'm going to include it in a chapter, or if I'm just going to include it in a video. Like, at the end of the video, this sketch happens, and I get another screwdriver.
I mean, would you believe a story that crazy? Hell, you're probably the only person I know that would even buy that. Oh, yeah, there might be some
Foreshadowing.
Anyway, just be extra cautious in case anything goes on, and I'll talk to you later, alright? Yeah, okay.
People notice the Doctor Who poster. I really love that Doctor Who poster. That cost like 99 cents. It was like wicked cheap. The shipping was like $5, but the poster itself was like $1.
What are you trying to do?
I actually knew shooting this. I know enough about film that if you shoot at a bright thing with like the white balance, because my camera's pretty basic, you shoot at a window like that, it's going to be dark and you're going to get a silhouette. But I wanted the silhouette for that scene, so that's actually one of the shots that looked bad, but I actually wanted it to kind of look different.
Oh. Looks like we have a volunteer.
And I didn't put any credits in this video. I was gonna put credits, but then I started thinking like, no, let's just end it on the to be continued note. Let's just end it there, because if I add credits, then I don't want to add the person who's going to be, the guy with the foot. I know you don't really care because you don't really know the guy, but I just I wanted to just like end on a note, like the way Kubo ends it with the foot. People noticed that too. How it's like you captured Kubo's style really good, especially with the foot ending. Because imagine, count that how many times, like not always a foot, but just count how many times Kubo ends a chapter with like a shadow appears, or something lurks next to the battlefield, or something like that where you don't know what's going to happen, or like someone's watching the fight, it's like some shadowy figure in the background. So we had that. Probably one more thing that just always annoys me when I watch this is when I'm approaching, at the end of the scene when I'm walking toward the camera, I say something like, oh, I guess here's a best way to start, or like here's a best way to start as any, and I take my sword and I kind of lower it, and then I'm walking down the trail and my sword's back up on my shoulder again, then I lower it again. So that's another thing that just ticks me off. I don't know if you guys are bothered by it from just a viewer standpoint, but I spend a lot more time around this because I spent days editing this at a time, so every time I had to edit this, and I'm just like, that just looks terrible. But I like the video is well received. At the moment I have like 900 views, only 1 dislike, but that one guy that was disliked, he's been taken care of, so yeah, we don't have to worry about him anymore. I kid, but I was expecting way worse than that actually, so it all works out. For chapter 3, honestly, chapter 2 was just a thing where it's like, chapter 2 is actually really simple, and I kept procrastinating, or like situations just couldn't arise, but I kept saying to myself, like, this is something that should be very simple. I should be able to shoot this in an afternoon. I shouldn't have to have much planning. I did have a little planning. I did draw some storyboards up, but chapter 2 was relatively simple to shoot. We shot it in probably less than an hour before I almost passed out from heat stroke. Chapter 3, on the other hand, is going to be a fight, and the fight I actually have to choreograph. I actually have to, like storyboard it pretty well, choreograph it, which shots I want, where I want the camera to go. But I don't know how it's going to go out. I would really love to get it out before it gets to, well, actually, if it did get a little bit colder out, that would be actually a plus, because just the idea of me, like, moving around a lot and shooting a fight scene while I'm in that suit in that temperature is it just does not bode very well. So if it gets a little bit cooler out, maybe we could start filming that. I'm going to try my best to get it out before it gets too cold, like to winterish, but like I said, school's starting next week for me, and if I have time on my schedule on the weekend, I don't have work or anything, I don't have anything going on, and I'm just happen to be down there, I'll work on it. But anyway, thanks for everyone who's watching these. Apparently you really like them. Apparently you're really hyped for chapter 3. I am too. I'll get that out as soon as I conceivably can. So thanks everyone for supporting me on these. This is something that really defines, like, I just wanted something that, not just with the manga reviews, not just with me talking about some random anime, I wanted something that was unique to me that I make up as I go along in some little series that I'm doing. And I have, like, my mind and imagination's crazy. Like, I have ideas for these that are just off the wall, that'll never happen, but you know, for right now I have a pretty good idea where I want to go with this Dark Matte arc. So thanks to everybody. This is Tekking101 signing out.